Every day, every night, I think of you. I'm sure there's no mutual feeling. And every time you cross my mind, I'm feeling your special healing. When we first met, it was all about us. Thought it was real before. Now I have to beg for your love. I told you, you said you understood, but you changed. I think of you more than you think of me. I think of you on the hour and the minutes between. Boy, you stay on my mind, tired of giving you time.
My name is Ky'Era. Why music? I feel music shows me. Why do I make music? I make music for women. Like Tupac said, I'm not a role model, I'm a real model. And I present that in my lyrics, and I present that in my lifestyle, which is classical. Many people ask me like, oh Ky'Era, why is your Instagram name classical? Because classical is a lifestyle to me. I live my life real, I live my life honest, I keep it classy with a little bit of meat in it. In Miami, Florida, and it birthed a lot of me. And the creativity, the openness, the individuality, music was my escape. I make music unapologetically. I say things that women think and are allowed to say in many cases.
You ain't acting like that. You ain't acting like that. You ain't acting like that. Called you once, then called you twice. Boy, where you at? Wasting my time, can't get it back. You losing me to the next one, the one who cares, the one who calls, the one who listens.
To give them a platform where they can be completely free and be on a platform where they're completely exposing themselves, vulnerability, telling their truths, and also giving them a platform where there is no judgment. So coming across your music, I resonated with that alongside of a lot of other people. And I'm just like, yo, like, who is this person? It's like a forbidden fruit. You know what I'm saying? Something that you know that you need, but it's like, if I bite into it, I'm going to get sucked into it. And that's kind of what happened. So talk to me, like, so like when you make music and people listen to it or whatever the case may be, does anybody ever take out the time and ask you, who is Ky'Era? Like, not who is Ky'Era the artist, but who is Ky'Era the individual? Like,
Do people ask me that? No. I don't get that question a lot. People meet me, feel my vibe and my energy, and just assume so much. But nobody has really actually taken the time to figure it out. But myself, I had to take that time out and figure that out for myself. Yeah.
So self-reflecting is always a good thing, especially for an artist, because in order to make sure that you are crossing or hitting every barrier, right? Like setting goals for yourself that are sometimes out of reach, but that just gives you more motivation to make sure that you are aiming higher, putting yourself on a pedestal is what I like to call it. So self-reflecting, is that something that you do to kind of like pull out the music that you want to put out? Or?
When I self-reflect, it's not all about the music, it's just more about me being at peace. Me being at peace and me being in a comfortable position in my life is what inspires my music. My everyday life inspires my music. So I want to make good music. I want to make music that makes people feel good, and I can't make that music if I don't feel that way myself. So me self-reflecting is just that's just my me time. That's my getting away. That's what makes my music great.
And timeless and ageless, right? Because I'm sure you get this a lot, because I like people that have been hearing tracks that I've obviously been like playing, blasting, because as soon as I figured out who you were, I'm like, yo, like I need to hear this, I need to hear more, and it just kept me wanting more, and I'm just like, I wasn't getting more, and I'm like, dog, like where is this girl at? And I'm like, she has her own hidden agenda. It has to be some kind of archive, right? So you are doing that, you know, and I feel like your music not only resonates with just your inner peace and your self-reflection, but also for me, because I feel like as a creative artist medicine, and for some situations, the songs that I've heard is definitely been medicine for me. Like, and especially, you know, the new stuff that I've heard that you guys will hear real soon.
Yeah.
But it is definitely medicine. So I mean, it's good as an artist to be able to find peace in the music, and then also want to give it back. And that's what people, artists, audiences, fans, supporters gravitate to most, is maintaining and being humble. What has been like the struggle for you in that situation? You know, trying to not get sucked into Ky'Era the Artist and differentiating between you as the artist and then you as a person.
Yeah, what's the biggest struggle between both of them? I would say confidence. Confidence, having the self-confidence to like just take the time and love myself and be bold in whatever I do. Like be bold in my creativity, be bold in my lifestyle and the message that I'm trying to send out. So yeah, confidence would definitely be my answer for that. It's been a struggle, you know, and like worrying about what people say. Like if I put myself out on social media in this way, people won't like my music. Right. People might not like me, you know, as a person, because I have my social media is full of people from just my personal life who, you know, many people in my personal life don't know that I make music. And many people, you know, in my music life, my fans, people who support me, don't know what I do in my regular life. So it's kind of like the confidence, you know, to balance it all and just be myself either way.
And I like the type as we talk, you know, because a lot of things I found out is like when artists are up and coming and they don't have platforms and they don't have people that genuinely give a care about what it took for them to get there. That's why I call you the forbidden fruit. You know what I mean? Like nobody really has read biblically why Eve really was allowed to go in there and take advantage of what was forbidden. You know what I mean? And that took barriers in that time frame. And I think that with what you're saying, you know, you're knocking down barriers with having a little bit of content out, because you're archiving stuff, because you're making a way so that when you do put everything out there that you're completely satisfied with that. Yeah. But so let's talk about it. So who is Ky'Era? Like who is the Ky'Era without the music? Who is this bubbly, energetic person that I've been working with all day, which is phenomenal doing this in period, but like the dancing, the just like the awkwardness that you can have as an individual, you know, being uniquely yourself. Like let's talk about that person. Who is she?
Well, she is really a little small-time country girl. You know, she just loves to have fun and just be positive. She's a girl who likes being outside, watching sports, like just being around genuine people, because that's just the energy she gets. She had a past, like, you know.
Right.
I'm getting nervous, y'all.
It's okay. Get nervous. You know what? You know what? Just you know what I want you to do? I want you to take a step back and say, you know what? Had I not went through those stumbling blocks, would I be Ky'Era before the artist, right? Because in order for you to become this artist as Ky'Era, you had to embrace those challenges.
I was depressed as like fuck for real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who like the real Ky'Era was. Like she came through like just growing up, being like a pastor's kid and having to like reach a certain level and being held to a certain standard, you know, like being put on a pedestal. I didn't even ask for it, you know, they just like threw me up there. But I've had to overcome kind of like, I grew up fast, you know, I have like a little brother who kind of like looked up to me my entire life. So I feel like I grew up a little fast mentally, and now like I'm at a certain, and it took me through like a dark path, you know. I started looking for things in the wrong places, whether it be like people and just doing things, you know, like crazy, depressed things,
just looking for something to suppress whatever.
Yeah, looking for something to fill the void that I felt in myself. So, you know, that's what Ky'Era is. She went through like a dark tunnel to get to like this light place, and it took a lot of like self-reflecting to get there. And that's why I'm so bubbly, and that's why I just feel free, and I like to dance and move. I really like to move. I don't know if you noticed that, but yeah, I like to move. Like if I'm just sitting somewhere chilling, I'll bust out in a song, or I like to like shake and move, because like that's how I'm feeling. I feel like if I sit still for too long, it's like,
it's not you.
Yes.
Right. I mean, being theatrical in times where like you feel most comfortable is kind of like when you really find out who you truly are. Like self-reflecting also. Like, I mean, there's not one person that can say at some point in their life choice, their career, their dream, whatever it is they're pursuing, that they didn't self-reflect, because you have to learn how to be okay with things not being okay. And
you're just listening to life right now.
Period. And then having that pressure, right, of being a pastor's child, aka a PK, right?
Yeah.
It's like you are expected to live a certain way, right?
Yeah.
Biblically speaking, the basic instructions of life, you know, before our end date, it's something to uphold that. But I think being that you have that background also helped you get to those dark places because you had to humble yourself, right? So how was that?
Humbling myself? Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so when you went through this dark tunnel, and obviously it took you to grow, and you had to grow fast. Like when people tell me that they have to grow up faster, which means to me that they may have missed out on some of their childhood or things that they wish that they could go back and do, but that's not how life works. We fast forward our life to our most happiest moments and pause them, then we'd forget ultimately what it took for us to get there. So being that you went through that dark tunnel and you saw the light and you overcame it, but you can overcome something and still not be completely satisfied. So where does your humbleness come from?
Yeah, this is so crazy. I was talking to my mom the other day, and just one word we talked about. I'll say my humbleness came from courage. Sounds kind of crazy, but like to me, courage is just like accepting where you are, like accepting your truth, accepting your reality, and not fighting it. Like just, okay, this is what happened. I made the decision to do something, and this is what I have to deal with. Like even if you don't make a decision to do something and like shit happens, like it's just accepting where I am. You know what I'm saying? Like accepting the path as it comes.
Well, the book was already written, right?
For sure.
Life, they say the Bible is basic instructions before this, but I feel like each and everybody's individual lifestyle takes a different toll because we all have instructions that we don't follow, and that's not always a bad thing because, being that people expect this out of a person, like expect you to move this way, and when you don't, it's a challenge because it's like, am I being rebellious? Or am I doing what makes me happy?
Yeah.
But it is being rebellious, but is it worth me being happy? You know what I'm saying? So those are really good ways to look at your situation and then triumph, like build off of that and capitalize off of just, not even just as a humble person, but capitalize off as understanding and embracing that no matter where I am, no matter where I came from, I know who I am, I know where I came from, but I ultimately know better than anybody where I'm going. So those are really good challenges, and it's not crazy that you said that your humbleness came from courage. It's just like prayer, and it's like prayer ain't nothing but hope. You know what I'm saying? It's like basketball. When you shooting a ball, you hope that when you shoot it, it goes in. So that's good. So 23 years old and trying to break out independently and doing this. With all the discouragements, I'm assuming, with battling which road was right or which road wasn't right. Why was music medicine for you? Because I feel like music for you was not only just medicine, but I feel like it's super therapeutic for just you, period, and then also for the people that are listening to it. Being an artist, you're not just singing for you anymore. Sometimes you're singing for other people.
Yeah, like the way you said that, because like I really got introduced to music in the church. So it's like growing up in the church and singing, I liked the craft, and then like the older I got, I fell in love with the reactions of the people when somebody did something really dope with their voice, or like if somebody said Jesus a certain way, like people would just fall out, and I'm like, wow, that connection they have, like they feel something, and that's how I fell in love with music.
So do you feel like being in that environment, even though you were going through that dark path and listening to the ministry and listening to the music and falling in love with the reactions, helped you to decide who Ky'Era was and who she wanted to be and what she wanted to do?
Yes, because being in that environment taught me faith. So in order for Ky'Era to do what she wanted to do, and in order for Ky'Era to fall in love with who she really is, she had to have some kind of faith. And by faith, I mean like a foundation. So it taught me how to find the bright, like, okay, the positivity in things. Like, it's okay, like, just believe it's going to happen. Excuse me. And it happened. So I've learned the power of energies, not only faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I put out into the world is what's going to come back to me. So being in that environment, you know, with my dad being a minister, that's what it taught me. It just taught me the foundations of faith. Not too much of the religious part, but the faith. And everybody needs faith. I feel like everybody needs foundation if they really want to be the best thing that they can be.
Yeah, I mean, in order to be the better version of who you are, you have to understand how you were created, and that's a strong characteristic that you have, and that's why I'm like, she's definitely the forbidden fruit, because everything that you're doing will be absolutely rebellious. But at the end of the day, if you have good vibes, you have strong energies, and you have high faith, for a lot of people, they're not really willing to take that risk. So you may be sitting in church with people who actually have the same goals as you, but not bold enough to say, you know what, I have to do what makes me happy. I have to set a part of what I know I should be doing versus what I really desire. And it's hard to decipher or put priorities connected, like, okay, so I'm gonna make this a priority, but I know that this should be first. So it's kind of like reorganizing, right? So did you ever find yourself in a time where you start falling in love with music and then you start singing, and then it's like, reprioritize, let me reprogram my mind back to where I came from, because I feel like I'm not walking by faith.
I feel like I'm at that point now, actually, because at first I got into music and I really loved it. I was like, wow, this is different, a certain experience I've never felt before. I got into music, singing in church. My dad hired this new guy named Bowie. Bowie is the dopest producer, everything of life. Like his passion for music pushed me. So he invited my brother to the studio first. They did their thing. I came like a Sunday afterwards. We did our thing, and I'm like, wow, like this music is for me. We wrote songs. Like I wrote 3 songs. I haven't been writing music for like never. Like I've never written music before.
How long have you been writing music?
Since then, so I would say about 2 years.
So 2 years writing music.
2 years, and I wrote my first song with Bowie, and that's what, like, you know, like it fueled the fire for me. I was like, wow, I didn't know this much went into music. So as time progressed, you know, my dad switched churches and everything. I kind of lost the passion for it. And I'm like, wow, like, but during that time, I was also going through a lot of things personally, like within myself. So I'm like, okay, wow, I love music. And I found myself again through music. And I say that, like, I was happiest those 2 years ago when I was writing these first songs of Bowie or whatever, and I was like, I want to get back to that point. And in order for me to get back to that point, I went back to learning more about the fundamentals of music and songwriting and what will make my craft great and what would make me great, you know. And I felt both of them connected, you know, like music made me, it was that void, you know, I felt I was missing on the inside. So that's where I am now, like finding the faith and like being strong and trusting the process about everything. And like ever since, like I found this connection in music and connected it to my faith, and I'm getting more spiritually involved. Things are going great. Like I've never been this happy.
Yeah, music tends to, like I tell people all the time, I definitely believe music is therapy. Like I believe it's medicine. I believe that it's something that can overpower our mind so much, because it gives us an outlet that nobody can take away. Everybody, so, and I'm sure like as you were growing up and having these trials and tribulations, right? The first thing you went to was your favorite artist, and you would listen to those songs, and surprise, you know, back when we were burning CDs and, you know, making playlists and whatnot, that one CD was your go-to. You either had your gospel go-to, you had certain songs, you had that R&B if you was in a relationship or you was going through something, or you just had that one that, you know what, I'm gonna put a mix of R&B, blues, jazz, old school, new school on one thing to just kind of camouflage whatever mood that I was in. And I feel like listening to your music, I feel like you putting all of your truth, lyric by lyric, verse by verse, and I think vocally you're just expressing emotion. And it's not emotion that you're currently experiencing, it's just the emotion that you carried for so long, and it's powerful. And I feel like being that you were in church and now that you're singing, I feel like you are spreading powerful messages in the songs that you're writing between the lines of the song titles and the choices that you choose, the beats that you choose, all of that, I feel like you're using those things to tell a story that nobody knows but you in a way that only you could relate, which is singing with emotion, singing with passion, and lighting your own fire every time. So those are things that, like I said, it's music by day, church by night, faith every single day. So going through this journey, you know, obviously as Ky'Era before the artist, right? How was that family-wise? Like how was that support system for you? Besides your brother and Bowie, right? Because those are the two people that kind of made you fall in love with it again. How was the support setup? Was it just only wanting you to do it in church on one platform, or was it okay, I believe in you, I know what you're capable of, go ahead and explore, or was it not that easy?
Well, actually, my parents, I'm not going to say they were very supportive, but they were open to it. So at first, I got a few gigs, South Beach, top 40 gigs. So I wasn't even 21, I think it was about 18, 19 years old, and I'm like, look, Dad, after church, I got to go to South Beach because I'm going to sing these songs. And he was like, what? You know, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, see how it goes. And I went, and he was like, wow, Ky'Era, like, you know, you have the voice, go explore the world. So the first song I wrote with Bowie, it was I was scared. That was when I was like, okay, so I'm gonna have to tell my mom and my dad that I want to sing for a living.
Right.
And I know they're gonna ask me if it's gonna be gospel, because that's all I sing, like I'm their little girl. It's
right.
That's the only thing that I can come out
of my mouth. Are you the only girl?
No, it's a few of us.
Okay.
But, you know, I'm the only one in the house with my mom and my dad, so I'm like, what am I going to tell them? Like, I lead praise and worship. I can't, like, lead praise and worship anymore, you know, because then I'd be kind of like, you know.
Worldly music mixed with godly.
Yeah, and I didn't want, you know, I don't even want to say mix both worlds, but I wanted to be secure in what I wanted to do before I got back up there. But either way, my dad was supportive of it. The first song I wrote was like a CCDB whine is like, I'm just talking about love, you know, so I could be talking about God, I could be talking about man. And my mom loves that song to this day. It's her favorite song. I don't think I would ever release it, but I don't know, it's a little different. I think I would. My mom likes it. I
think that anything that is unexpected should be released, only for the simple fact is because everything that you're doing is unexpected. Even you in this moment can't believe that this is happening. Yeah. I mean, and that's for every person that's up and coming. So why not release all of your truth? I mean, because again, even if it's not okay, it's okay for it not to be okay.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, what was the name of this song that you don't want to release, but at some point you may?
It's called They Ain't You.
They Ain't You.
They ain't you. They ain't you. That's how it goes. They ain't you.
Okay.
No, they ain't you. No, they ain't you. Yeah.
Hey, I heard that stuff here first on the artist noise. You hear me? Because I mean, most artists aren't even open to doing that. You know, like 18, 19 years old, you singing, you doing gigs, and I'm sure you still going to Sunday school. You know.
Yeah.
And it's like you out late. I'm sure, was there ever a deal made though? Like, okay, so you can do this, but you must still go to church. Was that ever something that you had to deal with?
No, like my parents never gave me that choice or that option. It was just I always felt obligated. I'm living under their roof. You know, they're paying the bills. My dad's the pastor. I'm the pastor's daughter. How would it look if, you know, I just didn't show up to church? So I think I put that pressure on myself. My parents never really put that on me. But like here and there, they would say some things that would make me feel bad. You know, like, oh, you know, like, oh, you gotta come to the church and you gotta teach the kids this, and if you leave, oh, what will happen? So, you know, kind of like feeling a little guilty. But other than that, no pressure from there.
It's like a Greenleaf situation, you know. Did you watch it? So you know how they had, you know, brought her back and she was gonna run the church, and they wanted her to preach again, and she wasn't with that because of what she had been through. And those are good things, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But feeling obligated to something like that is not even, you know, a bad thing, because the obligation is something that you have with your fans that support it now as Ky'Era the artist. It's not that you're obligated to do what you're doing solely for them, but without them, then who would Ky'Era really be as an artist, you know? So learning early on about obligation and securing the fact that, you know, you understand what it means to follow suit and to follow through completely. How has that changed you now at 23 and actually working even harder? Because I'm not gonna say you wasn't working before harder, but working even harder, embracing it more, and not shying away from it. How is that going to spill over into the now Ky'Era the Artist?
I guess just the hustle and bustle of things.
So now you got this. You living off this hustle and flow?
Yeah, the hustle and bustle of things.
And that's cool. So, you know, in any time in this transition, right, from 18, 19, you overcame the obstacle of, you know, obviously, it's either I'm going to disappoint my parents or I'm going to disappoint myself because I didn't do, you know, I didn't stay true to who I was. But was there any opportunities that came with that maybe you had closed doors, people didn't like what you were saying, they didn't follow suit with this journey, they just thought that it was like, oh, you backsliding, or, you know, I don't want to give you an opportunity because there's somebody that's just like you, or you're not good enough? Is there any times that you've ever been pre-exposed to anything like that?
Like being denied?
Yeah.
Yeah, my skin color a few times. I haven't been light enough to have certain roles, you know. But I don't feel like that doesn't hurt my feelings. Other than that, no.
So skin color, and I'm glad you said that because melanin is definitely popping, you know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And the fact is, you know what? Music has no color. You know what I'm saying?
It has no look. Like,
at all.
Music is a texture. You just feel it.
Yes.
Like, that's it. Music is a texture, and my job is to make like a customized texture that like you just don't want to stop feeling. Like a fluffy cat. I have a cat named Frank, and all I want to do is just rub Frankie because like he's so soft and fluffy. So that's me. I'm creating a texture, undeniable texture. Like I want you to feel it. Like you have to feel it.
So you don't record songs in that you can't feel it, right?
Yes.
So intensity, right? You know, as an artist, we tend to be our worst critics at times.
Yeah.
Is there music that you have right now that's sitting there because you just don't feel like it's good enough?
Yes, all my music, even the music I released, I'm like, no, I shouldn't do it, but I do it anyway. So all of my music, I'm like that. I'm my worst critic, down to like the word "to." Like I should have added that word here. You ruined everything. Nobody's gonna feel it. Nobody's gonna love it. And like now I'm working on my songwriting because I have to tell the story like the right way.
Right.
You know?
Make sure you're hitting all the points and not leaving anything. You know, when your music video drops, your project drops. So you have a date when that's dropping?
No date, but it's coming soon.
But it's coming
very
soon.
soon. We're working. We are working.
See how we try to pull it out of it, but it's just not coming. So listen, make sure y'all stay tuned for the video, man. The full interview with Ky'Era, aka I'm gonna call her classical because I just feel like she's a classical woman. Like the man, classic man. The men can be classical, so can women, man. Make sure y'all keep it locked on The Art of Noise, man. www.adonistaon.com, man. Stay focused, stay humble. More importantly, man, keep y'all mind on the money and not the money on your mind. Because if you do anything with money on your mind, you will not fulfill your strong passion. Make sure you follow my girl on Instagram. Let them know where they can follow you at so they can go check out some of that music, and on Apple, iTunes, and wherever.
Yeah. So my Instagram is _KL8SSICAL. Classical with the K. But you can also follow me on Twitter, which is classical, but the underscore is at the end. Streaming everywhere, Ky'Era, KYERA. You'll see me. All outlets, all digital outlets.
Well, we can't wait to have you back.
Thank you for having me.
And man, we can't wait to have you back when the podcast is up and going. And I'm sure, for sure, I'm expecting something.
It's coming.
What I'm expecting is when you get that first CD, I just want an autograph sign one. You know what I mean? That's all I want. Forget everything else. Maybe a concert ticket where I ain't got to, use binoculars and all that good stuff. Other than that, we solid, man. I can't wait for you to read
This
this.
was amazing. This was amazing.
Yeah, it was dope. It was
Thank you,
dope.
guys.
Man, give me a hug, man.
Hey, thank you.